All right, we're recording.
Wow. Welcome back.
I
feel
know.
like saying welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a minute.
It has. And the reason it's been so long is because we've both been spending so much time inner working and having personal growth. And in fact, I remember, I believe it was the New Year's resolution you did for me on my show, in which the guides were telling me that this is going, because I was worried about money, how I'm going to support myself. And they said, you're not going to need money because this is going to be an intense work of inner working for you.
Oh,
And that's what it's been.
Oh, wow. Wow,
So
I was right. That's impressive.
You're right about a lot of things.
I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending, of like smiling all big and like, oh, hi. I just don't have the energy. Hi, everybody.
Over it. So
Hello.
do you feel, well, before this video started, everyone, we were kind of having like a personal, catching up with each other, how we feel. And I'm like, we should just push record at this point and to keep going on. But we are kind of talking about our personal growth and where we're at. And so without giving too much background, because it'll just fall out, do you feel angry? I mean, you said you're tired of being fake. How do you, and smiley, how do you feel now? What's your attitude? Are you just a pissy asshole? I'm just kidding.
Some people would say that. I'm me, and the me that I am. I'm really getting to know who I am. Like, I think I found out, how like some people, they always say you don't know who you truly are and stuff like that, especially when you're really young, like me. But I think
I'm figuring it out.
I figured it out. I know who I am, and I'm very comfortable with that. I've had to embrace this. I know the positives about me. I'm very compassionate. I have strong sense of justice. I'm very empathetic towards others. I want to give and love freely and things like that. I'm very open-minded. Like, I have a lot of positive traits. But with that, there's a lot of traits that we deem as negative. And for a long time, I've run away from those, because in the spiritual community, we have to only embrace our light side kind of thing. You have to be all about peace and love and things like that. So anything that wasn't that, I felt like I couldn't look at. And it prevented me from being able to really get to know me and find out what my triggers are and work through those things, because I was trying to fit this to this expectation.
Yes. You just said, I have my fingers crossed to the side so I don't forget it. You said something like, I'm going to paraphrase, but something like, I avoided the things that we deemed bad or something like that. And Heather and I, we often do the same things in different contexts. We learn the same kind of lessons in different ways at the near same time. So I too am learning to ditch those that others deem, significant or not significant or whatever. I'm learning how to ditch the values that other people place on me.
Yeah.
So mine has to do with body image mostly, not attitude, because let's face it, I'm always nice and sparkly.
I can be a real fucking bitch. And
I can too. I can get cunty.
I think so. My dark side, I would call it, I'm learning to love that side. And I feel like everyone should embrace their darkness, because, and that sounds so negative already coming out of my mouth, because I have this from years of this dogma being thrown into me by the spiritual community. It's
people-pleasing person. Be shiny, be light.
Yeah. Be shiny, be light, love and light. And, only embrace the lightness. But I'm over here saying the opposite, like, not that you can't embrace lightness, do that, absolutely. But embrace all of you, and that includes your darkness. It's still,
what's your darkness? What's yours? I swear to God, darkness? Heather, I'm trying to like find mine.
Mine is I'm an amazing person, honestly.
Dark? Is that your dark side?
Yeah, I am. I know I'm manipulative. I can, and a lot of, this is such a big story. There's so many layers to it, but
of course,
I can be extremely judgmental. And I'm quick to anger. And, I would say that those, I can be vindictive and spiteful.
Gosh, I'm none of those things. You're mean.
And I can be. I don't, because my compassionate side and my loving and wanting to be this sense of like my diplomatic side that wants equality and love for everybody prevents me from being like that. But if I am like that towards you, that's like you deserved it kind of thing. It's like you drew me to that kind of position.
I'm trying to own that part, because I remember one time, and I won't go into details, but I remember Eric passed on an info, because I was like shocked by some language that went on between two humans. And Eric basically said, well, sometimes that kinds of language needs to be used. It's effective. So now when I like hold back from my, and I really want to say something nasty because I'm angry, sometimes I'm letting myself let that part come out, because I guess it, I'm coming to the realization that that's true. Sometimes those ugly words need to be said. I don't know if it's for the speaker or the receiver, probably both.
Both. I think so. But I'm balanced. So it's not like the dark side of me takes hold more often. I found this balance between the two. And I think it's important to address your yin and yang, to have the balance between that. I'm all about balance. So I've found the balance between my yin and yang within me. And I think it's important for everyone else to achieve that as well, because that's like a whole new level of peace that you can't even begin to comprehend. And it's a whole new level of being grounded as well. That it's almost like, some people always say, oh, transcend your ego, but they're focused on only staying positive, and they think it's about being positive, love, and light, and peaceful all the time, but
hell no, this is messy, dirty work.
Yes. But it's their judgment from their ego of what they think peace is supposed to feel like. So now that I'm here, I'm feeling like, no, this is what peace is. You are at peace within yourself of who you are, and all of that comes with it.
I don't have peace yet. I just don't. I'm working on it.
I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm starting to feel that calm. It's just calm. There's no
I can appreciate that too, because everybody's been, there's no secret on my journey. I've had the torture and torment of the twin flame stuff. I had the mommy issues. I had the oppressor issues. I had so much stuff. And as I break through more and more stuff, I do live in my, more peacefully. In fact, my current journey of my body issue doesn't have all of the torture that the love stuff had. So I do have more peace, a lot more peace. But let me ask you this. Do you feel like, in a way that, I understand about integrating, I have the whole yin yang tattooed right on me, but sometimes the dark side, I feel, is not only valuable for what you're saying, the balance, but that dark side is a way to recognize and address triggers. Yeah, because we're never going to reach ultimate perfection here. When we do, we die. So that's never going to happen. There's always going to be this light and dark. So that dark side is not just to acknowledge, but to work on, whatever pisses you off, whatever your dark side is, are the triggers in your life. So embrace that shit. You don't ignore it.
For your light side too. So some things that make me angry, it could be because as an individual, I have a strong sense of wanting to stick up for others, the strong sense of justice. So, and that deals with me. So some of it it triggers your light side too. And that could trigger your anger, because they both go hand in hand. So if it triggers your light side, and then your anger side comes out, which was what we would deem as your dark. But I only use that verbiage to help differentiate. I don't think there is your light or your dark. I think it's just, it is what it is,
So what kind of shit, can I ask you? What kind of shit's pissing you off these days? I got mine. What's making you mad?
It's mostly do with politics and stuff, all that's going on. I'm really heavily involved in that because, it's what I'm passionate about, and I don't think it's wrong. Some people say, well, if you're a spiritual teacher or whatever, you're supposed to see it from a, meta perspective. And it's like, no, you can, but you're still here to be human. So if you feel drawn to it, absolutely be part of it. But
exactly. And I am not drawn to it. And that doesn't make me any less. I don't judge you for doing it. You're making the change in your way. I'm making the change in my way. So I'm not going to judge you and say, she's so lame for getting sucked into those politics. You don't need it. You know, people can easily say that same, she's so lame to always be loving boys, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, that is pretty lame, I'll admit, but served its purpose. I have something to tell you about your politics stuff. You know, I'm not into it at all.
Yeah.
But I screenshot some of the memes that you share and I send them to my boy Josh, because he is so on board with you. You guys spew the same stuff. And so I like to share it with him to say, is this how you feel? Is this how you feel? Because yeah. But I'm like, I wonder if you two, because you know, we're all connected up there in some way or another. I wonder how you two have been connected in other ways, or if you will be in this life, because you know what? I don't want to give too many like future stuff away. I don't even know if it's going to happen, but one of my goals in the future, if you ever get your channeling bug back, is to talk to future Josh and find out.
Oh yeah. I think that would be interesting.
Well, let me tell you why I'm going to plant this little seed. But Josh, you found out in another reading that he was the first president of Turkey. And there's a whole movement, a political something called the Kemalism. And so he's been reading about, he is so smart. I mean, he just goes on. And the way he talks about the way governments should be is almost exactly the way our Sarsahr live under that mountain in the desert. You know, no money, everything, everybody's pretty easy. You follow your passion, you get robots and shit to do your dirty work that you don't like. I don't know if they have robots, but that's his plan, robot labor. But anyway, I'm really excited to explore that in the future, because he is not only my son in this human life as Carrie, he's also going to be mine and Avery's son as our alien selves. So clearly we're going to have connections along lifetimes. Yeah. And I didn't mean to go there with that, but it's so interesting to me how similar you two think all the way down the line. I love it. And he used to be very immature in his way of thinking. A couple of years ago, he decided he was going to get a tank for his 16th birthday and take that to school. Well, you know, that wasn't going to happen. But now, you know, now I know what the fuck. But now I hear him talk and I'm like, you are so smart that I can't even keep up with you.
Oh.
So I hope that you guys hook up and
he's got some critical thinking skills.
He really does. And I just feel like he, you know, since he was a president of a country at one time in his life, I'm kind of wondering what's in his future this time. And he said something, or I don't know which one of us said that he's going to be the president of the United States. Every time I think of that, I can't stop laughing, because I'm like, I cannot be the mother of the president. No!
Fucking crazy ass Carrie going up there and be all over the news.
I know. He'd be like, my mom's married to an alien. That'll go well with his credibility. Actually, you know, in like 30 years, that might help him out. Okay. Yeah. Enough of me and my kid. So the political stuff's pissing you off?
Well, not really pissing me off. Sometimes I get heated.
Engaging you then?
Yeah. Not always am I getting angry. It's very minimal, my anger. Mm-hmm. It's more of like, I feel passionate and I'm like, I want to help our society move forward, you know, like help it grow. And there's always some pullback with that, but you know, that's only, I get angry when people are just, I'm like, can't you not see the patterns here? And, you know, but then I'm thinking, you know, that's my own ego. That's my own perspective that I'm pushing on someone. So I still have that understanding of the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. But I also understand I'm here to be humans. And sometimes seeing that bigger picture, it's beneficial.
It lets you off the hook a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
It's beneficial, but you have to remember you came here to be human. So,
exactly.
You know.
So you got to put yourself right back on that hook, because you are here. You're not there anymore. Right. It is good to see that, have that perspective, calm the fuck down, and then jump back into it.
Yeah.
After having calmed down and seeing.
Right. It's like, you know, when you're in the ring fighting or something and then you take a pause and you're getting a drink of water. That's when you look at that big perspective, like, oh, okay. You know, take a breather, take a break for a minute, and you go right back into the ring, you know?
And I'll never, ever forget great-great-grandpa Cayetano explaining that the reason you make change is because you live here. Your experience, it may be a hologram, it may be a fake world, but you live here. So do something about it to make it better. And, you know, sometimes we think about our spiritual journeys ought to be like, I don't know, magnificent in some way. But I get hooked on like those home improvement shows. And I'm watching people, you know, hammering their nails or whatever. And in my mind, I think, what a good gig. Their higher selves chose to entertain people while learning how to surrender, because when you can't get that angle right, or you have to start your project over, that's very frustrating. Your time and your money, your effort, your brains, everything went into it. It went to shit. So there doesn't have to be any one way to reach that evolution. So if yours is to make the world a better place through changing things politically, I don't even know how to use the verbiage, then more power to you. It's not invalid just because somebody else thinks it's too 3D or whatever.
Right. So there's a lot of, I'm going to just call it dogma from the, spirituality that I'm letting go of. And no different than when I let go of Catholic dogma. It's the same thing. It doesn't serve me anymore. It's a forced belief being pushed on me, that doesn't.
Dogma is the perfect word. And many years ago, that was one of the things I was told: you're going to break dogmas. I really thought it was because I was going to be married and have all these, boyfriends at the same time. I don't think that's it at all, but yes, it's the dogmas. And, I mentioned that we do the same things, and I figured out mine and Heather's parallel, talking to the camera now. And she was telling me about how she's being very mindful of things. And I am too. My dogmas that I'm getting rid of are the expectations that society has put on me about how I have to look. I don't want to go into this too much because I have my own show, but let me go ahead and promote that a little bit. Because if you are interested, who isn't interested in like weight loss or whatever? Because I don't know about you, but I think about food all the time. Even when I eat a meal, I'm like, okay, how many hours do I have to wait to eat my next meal that I won't have too much food going in? What am I going to eat? Is this a good bite to put in my mouth? Is this a bad bite? There's so much external, expectations placed upon me about what I'm supposed to eat, what I'm supposed to look like. Yeah. And I want to, this is going to make me cry. I want to get rid of all those dogmas. I watched this movie last night on Netflix. It's really cute, by the way. It was called Ilona Holmes. It was Sherlock Holmes' little sister. It's very cute. And she's being, she wants to dress like a boy. And they're like, no, you got to dress like a girl. And the lady's like, oh, those hips are too thin. You need some enhancements. And she's like, why the fuck do I need an enhancement for on my hips? So even though this is like 200 years ago, I don't know when it was, even back then, they're getting pointers on external sources about how they're supposed to look. And the weird thing is that it's the complete opposite of what we want to look like now. I do not want to enhance my hips. I want to stick them in a girdle and tighten them up. I really should not want to do either of those things because I'm just me and I don't have to fit into anybody else's box or anybody else's dogma. I'm just me, and I don't want to feel guilty or shame because I don't fit in that box. Yeah. So I too am chiseling away at those false beliefs that no longer serve. I love that we do this stuff together.
Mine's not about weight loss, but it's definitely around the, it's the same theme.
Yeah, letting shit go. Your opinion does not reflect who I am. It's just your opinion.
Yeah, I know. There's been so much going on in my life, and I've been struggling with mental illness, and there's a lot of stigma about mental illness in the spiritual community and how you can't be on medication. You have to try this more clean way or whatever. And I'm like, nah, dude, like science is there for a reason and it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And there's a lot of growth to be had there still. But I think there's a lot to be said about therapy, and some people really do need to take medication. Some people really do have damaged brains that they can't function. And your idea of using essential oils isn't going to help,
My mental health is perfect. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, like that's not how that works.
It's true. You have your own dogma in that, spiritual community, you have to be completely clean and pure. You can't channel if you're on drugs.
Right. No, I feel like my channeling got worse because my mental illness is so bad. And when I started taking medication, I actually started to be able to hear again and feel better because I was no longer, some people say, well, it's situational mental illness. Like some people get really depressed because of situations going on. Well, I've struggled with anxiety.
As long as I've known you. Yeah. And I know beyond that, but as long as I've known you.
Yeah. So I've had struggled with anxiety, and I've been fighting off taking medication for years. And I've had periods in my life when it's been extra stressful where my anxiety has made me unable to leave the house. So I've been struggling with that recently. I've had it happen in the past as a child growing up, but I've never had to worry about it because I didn't have bills I had to pay. But now as an adult, it's happening. I'm like, shit. So, and I didn't qualify for disability either. So that sucks. And I'm thinking like, okay, me not being able to leave the house and having a panic attack every time I leave makes me able to work. Okay, that makes sense. You know,
work from home.
I guess, yeah.
It's a little limited, but okay.
All right. So anyway, I found a way to make it work. I had to get rid of every want I've ever wanted, like, you know, my Netflix, my Amazon Prime. I had to get rid of, like, you know, those extra, they're not needs. They're just
okay. I see what you're saying. I thought you meant so that you'd be motivated to leave the house because you were bored. I get it.
No, for my bills. Because
yes, that makes sense. Yes.
So, you know, I'm teaching my nephews because everybody's at home doing school. So I get money from that, and I clean my mom's house. So I get money from that. So I narrowed down my bills to the bare minimum, and it's only like $500 a month or something for my bills. So it's really cheap. So I'm able to make it work, but I had to get rid of literally everything I've ever enjoyed. So I had to find new things to enjoy, because I can't afford all those fancy things. So I realized how much we live in excess too by doing that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, there's so much I don't need. And I was thinking, like, I don't even need a phone. I like to have a phone, but I have a laptop with internet that works just fine, you know, and I could just have that. But no, I want my phone. So that's one of the wants I've had.
I'd get rid of the laptop and keep the phone. I need to have my people.
Oh no,
with me
I
at
write.
all times.
I have to write.
I type. I'm a thumb girl.
Well, I'm writing a novel. I gotta have my laptop. So, but yeah, so my immense anxiety has led to depression. So, because I can't leave the house and do the things I enjoy, and I'm trying to lift myself out of it. It's really hindered a lot of my relationships with some of my friends because I can't be there. My parents are going through some weird divorce thing. They've been together since they were like 14. So this is like their first breakup, you know, and they're like,
oh, their hearts.
You know, I'm going to put this on YouTube. They're going to fucking hate this, but
they don't watch it. Don't worry. The universe won't let them see it.
This is my outlet. So if you guys are watching this and you're getting mad, I'm not sorry. This is my outlet. So
okay, go ahead. I had just a quick funny. Let me interrupt you, but I talked some shit about my dad on my show, knowing he would never watch it, but because, you know, like all my prostitute stuff, he made a couple comments to me in my life that kind of put me back to the prostitute place. So I told this story, and of all the YouTube videos I've done since Shiny, Stardust, and Silver Linings, he's never commented. But he commented on that video. I'm like, of all the fucking videos, he didn't end up watching it. But isn't that funny? Don't worry, your parents won't see yours. Okay.
Go. Yeah, I know. But they're going through a
weird divorce thing.
Yeah, they're not filing for divorce, but they're separated. My dad said he's gonna leave her. My mom's like, kind of thinking they're still gonna get back together or something. And they've both been together since they're 14. Never been with anyone else. So this is like their first breakup. You know, most of us went through this when we're like much younger, you know, and it's like a big learning experience. So
it's huge.
Even though they're in their 50s, like they're acting like immature little teenage kids, and they are pissing me the fuck off. And I'm going through my own shit already, and I just don't have the room for that. And I had to tell them I'm at capacity. So anything that you guys are going through, I just cannot. Like, don't tell me about what dad said. Don't tell me about, like, my dad's a sociopathic narcissist. He really fucking is. I love him to death, but like he's like, he's crazy. Like and I'm seeing all of these, and I know it's because of my perspective where I am with dealing with mental illness. I'm seeing my whole family's mental illness problems now. My dad's a sociopathic.
Diagnosing everyone.
Yeah, I know. My dad's a sociopathic narcissist. My mom has generalized anxiety who gets psychosis sometimes. Like, and you know, I see all my sisters and their problems too, and I'm like, no wonder I'm fucked up, you know. And it's fine. I love them, but like, one of the things that's really pissing me off, I have to say this, is my dad, you know, we meet up for lunch and stuff. And that's great. I've never had so much time with him before. You know, I've always been close with my mom, but my mom, the last few years, I remember crying on one of our last Stardust videos about how my mom made me feel like she didn't like me because of who I am as a person. And it was during a time when I was trying to accept who I was and learning who I was. But I started to hang out with my dad more. But now I'm starting to see how manipulative my dad is. And I've gained a lot of his traits because of that. And I'm learning to accept it. You know, got to use your powers for good kind of thing. But he can make you...
use your powers for good. Yeah.
I remember him teaching me when I was in high school. He said that, you know, a good trait to have as a boss is to come up with an idea that you want to happen, but you know that other people aren't going to want to do it, you know, but you know it's a good idea. You convince them it was their idea.
Like
and
Trump
you
tried
get
to do
them
with the wall. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Like, you convince them it's their idea. He taught me those skills. Like, these are good things to do. And I guess they can be useful, but I have no idea how manipulative I am until I started watching, like paying attention to myself, practicing mindfulness. My dad always has another agenda for everything he says and for what he does. And it's for his gain. So like when he meets up with me for lunch and he is always pressing on me, like, you know, nothing's more important to me than my baby girls and stuff. And, you know, my daughters are everything to me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you say that constantly all the time. And I know it's because you want me to feel like I can trust you. Like there's another hidden agenda behind everything he's saying and doing.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
And my dad has always been like that. And I just noticed it now. My mom, she is very honest in that she is depressed all the time and all that. But with that, she can lash out at you, and because she's not healed herself. But it's not fake like my dad is, you know. But they're both unhealthy, and they've always been like that, and they've been together, and their marriage was very unhealthy because they're both unhealed people that were together. So it was a very abusive marriage. My dad was emotionally and mentally abusive, while my mom was physically abusive because of her mental health problems and stuff. So they're both bad for each other because they're just unhealed people. And I'm seeing that now and recognizing a lot of my traits that I share with them. And doesn't mean I'm going to work on myself and those traits I don't want to keep. But at the same time, it's not that I don't like them, like those traits either.
Right.
I still love and accept myself for that. But
and them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both going to therapy, thank fucking God. And anyway, so I've been dealing with that. And then on top of that, while all that first started happening, my dad's like with another mistress right now. And on top of that, it's so crazy. It's everything.
You really do have like a strength. I'm going to see you on the Bravo network.
I know. And then at the same time, my uncle died, you know, he killed himself. And I'm just like,
oh, I didn't know what happened with that. I didn't know he did. Is that a secret? I didn't know. I thought they just found him.
It kind of.
It's not anymore.
It's not anymore. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Like,
well, what happened? Fill us in.
Well, he's, for the past, like, I don't know how long, but it's been years. He's been in pain and constantly having strokes. And the doctors don't know what was going on with him. And he was just in a lot of pain and unhappy, and he couldn't work. And all he could do was just stay home all day. Some days he would just feel too sick to go out and do anything. And he didn't even qualify for disability either. So he wasn't bringing in any money to help. And I'm like, why do you think he's still able to work? You know, what about him makes you think he could still work? Anyway. So
I heard you say he's been giving you some messages. I mean, I saw that post.
At first, yeah, he has been. It's more for like his wife and his son and stuff, not so much me.
Are they receptive of it?
Yeah, they are.
That's good.
But anyway, so he had eventually, took his own life, and I don't blame him at all for that.
I really don't, because, we get the perspective. And while I feel for your family members, it's good for him for being set free. I remember I heard that one of my friends killed herself, and I was like, oh, good for her.
Yeah, right.
But I knew what her life was like,
Yeah, and we went, my mom had called me and she was crying when she told me, and they were still at the house and they still hadn't gone to pick up the body yet. He was still laying in his bed. And so I went over there, and it was so weird because my grandparents are there. So his mom was, my grandma's still alive and had to bury her own son. I mean, she refused to go to the funeral. She refused to bury her son. She refused to go. But that was her way of dealing with it. The whole time I was fine. The whole time I just wanted to be there and make sure everyone was okay. Especially because I have a different viewpoint on death. It didn't hit me until I saw him in the casket.
I don't like that.
And we went to the viewing. And at the time, I wasn't even paying attention to my body language. And I have been standing away like this, away from his casket like that, like uncomfortable. It didn't look like him. I was just like, wow.
I know. It's very strange. I don't ever want to see a viewing again. It's truly unreal.
Sam went. Sam was there through the whole thing. It was his first time seeing a human like funeral thing. And I was like, it's a little different because it's COVID.
Right.
We would usually go to a Catholic church because my whole family's Catholic, and it would be like a full mass for an hour with the casket up there on the altar. And I'm like, and they would talk about Jesus and Mary. They would talk about everyone except the dead person. And then that's how it is. And then they take you out to the cemetery. We have a Catholic cemetery, and then you do the burial. And then you go to eat food after at a family member's house.
Right. Death and food, hand in hand.
He was so sad. Sam was more sad than I was. He was very somber, through the whole thing, watching everything. Everyone was crying.
Oh, Sammy.
He was watching the whole funeral, the whole thing. It was very interesting to him, but also very, very sad, yeah, it was weird. And I love my family, but some of my cousins are very overdramatic. Like one of them, I had set up the Zoom so other family members who couldn't go, because only a set number of people could go,
right.
They could watch it from home. And I had set up the camera. My fucking cousin, I love her to death, but it's the eldest daughter of my uncle, the one who died. Of course she's sad, but she purposefully stands in front of the camera and is crying, holding her boyfriend, right in front of the camera, blocking the casket. I'm like, the camera's there, girl. You're just move over. I moved the camera, and she continued to like move closer to the to cry. I'm like, girl, get your shit together. Like, oh, we get it. You're sad,
You know what? I have set my whole family free. I have a wedding to go to next month with a cousin. I'm like, I'm sorry, family. I don't care to ever see them again. I just don't. This is why.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
Anybody watching this that doesn't know my family will probably think, Heather, you're being so judgmental and mean. I'm like, no, you don't know me.
You don't know my family.
You don't know my family.
I've heard the stories. It sounds just about right.
Yeah.
And I trip out on that because we all have this dysfunction. We all, in our own flavors, in our families. And I look around at my cul-de-sac, and I'm like, I know all of you perfect looking, picket fence houses have some kind of crazy shit going on in your family too.
And she knew, she went to she had a newborn daughter, and she lives in Hawaii, and so she never brought her daughter over to be able to meet her grandpa. Anyway, but she was bringing up her baby to the casket and was like, say bye to your grandpa kind of thing, and that was sad. That was genuine. But then someone started to record it, and then she did it again and a third time to make sure you got it, on the camera.
She's going to be on the Bravo network.
I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you already had her say bye. Don't do it again because someone's recording now. So she's like that. I love her, but goddamn.
Some triggers that day.
I know. I was just rolling my eyes. I never spend time. My family's huge, and it's really rare that we get all together because it's so big. It's hard.
Yeah.
So
funerals and weddings. That's it.
Yeah. or we have family reunions every 2 years.
Oh, there you go.
But I always roll my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, this fucking family. But then
I'm gonna go.
You go.
No, I was gonna like reel you back in because I want you to finish that, but I thought you were done.
Oh,
I want to hear more about your mental illness shit and what you're doing.
yeah. Sorry, I went off track because this is kind of funny to me. But afterward, the funeral, we had so much food. It was like we're feeding like 200 people. And it was just so much fucking food. And Sam was like, is this normal? And I was like, for my family, it's normal. Everyone was bringing over food. Every single person that showed up brought like food to feed 10 people.
That's great for my current path.
Yeah.
I'm going to start crashing funerals, I swear.
Crash my family's funerals because we bring a shit ton of food.
I'll bring my camera and make sure I get your cousin.
Yeah. And right. And then it's COVID, but we don't, it's my family, and it's a funeral, so we don't care for that moment. And we're like, there's way too many people here. And instead of like, we should send everyone home, we're like, we should order some tables and some chairs. Like, it was a last minute funeral get together. It was funny. Anyway, so reeling it back in.
Yes, because this is kind of another thing that you and I are doing at the same time, is being mindful of our thoughts when we get triggered by something. And mine is to decide why I want to eat that candy right now or whatever it is. Yeah. What am I seeking to fulfill that makes me feel empty enough to want to feed myself with this? I haven't figured out what I'm missing yet, but I do eat lots of candy, so there's something. And you're trying to be mindful by how?
Mindful of a lot of just who I am. Mindful of like just in general, every trigger, like things that make me angry, things that make me judge, things like that. Because I don't want to get angry. I don't want to judge. I don't want to be sad about things. And it's a good thing I'm doing therapy as well. And part of the therapy, the first step is mindfulness. That's what we're focused on right now anyway, which is what I'd be doing on my own anyway. So but this time I have a coach to help me through it. So it's a little, I feel like I'll be able to go through it a little easier. But she's also asking me about looking at my behaviors after. She wants me to pay attention to how my body physically responds to it. And then she asks me, what are your behaviors afterward? What are you doing after you realize this to help cope with that? What are you doing to help alleviate that feeling? And I find that my coping mechanisms aren't healthy anymore. I used to be super healthy, but I got lazy because I got so tired. And that's normal. That's okay. But I'm learning to find new, I have to find new coping mechanisms because the ones I was using before, I'm just too lazy to do. So a new one would be, it's easier to just go talk to one of my roommates about it real quick. Like, this is what's going on. And it helps to alleviate a lot. I started smoking CBD cigarettes, so it's not nicotine. It's just that it's filled with CBD. So I smoke that too sometimes.
Is it THC?
No, it doesn't, no THC, just CBD. Yeah.
I'm like, what's the fucking point? I get it. Just fooling with you.
But they look like cigarettes, and they're in a little cigarette looking box thing. And so it makes me feel like, oh no, I don't want to be a smoker, but I only smoke like one when I'm having really bad like depression or something, and it helps a little bit without getting me high. I don't want to get high. I'm over weed. Like I started.
Do you know who I am though? Yeah, I will never be over weed.
No, I'm over it. I'm not over alcohol.
Mad if my guides I'll be mad if that becomes part of my path to give that up. No,
I don't. It's not that I'm giving it up or anything. I don't care.
It's not every day, all day long with you.
Yeah, no, me, it's the CBD thing or a shot of vodka. I love drinking.
I can never do the alcohol thing. I know you're like, I'm going to become a fucking alcoholic during this shit.
You know,
and I'm
like,
thank God I go for the weed because I can't do the alcohol.
You know, I'm so comfortable. Before I was so paranoid I'd become an alcoholic. I'm so comfortable in who I am now that I know that I wouldn't,
I couldn't. I mean, I try to be a good drinker, and I drank the summer of 2018 all the way through fall, actually. And then that was it. Come on, fairy girl, give a girl a party.
I know. Right now, I'm just thinking like, it sounds good. A fucking shot of vodka with like some Dr. Pepper.
Remember what you were drinking? Some kind of sour. What were you drinking? Something sour.
A whiskey sour.
Do you think they made vodka sours? Because that sounds good to me.
does.
I'm going to invent a vodka sour. Maybe it already exists.
I love, yeah. Anyway, so some people are like, because I have a long history of alcoholism in my family, and being Native American, I'm more predisposed to becoming an alcoholic.
That's true. But you don't have any fears of that?
No, not anymore, because when my therapist was like, you need to stop drinking when you're doing your medicine and trying it out. And I was like, okay. And I just stopped. And then
if they told me you got to quit smoking your weed, Eric tried that like years ago, and I stayed sober for 3 months, and then I went to Denver for Jamie Butler's thing, and I was like, fuck that, I'm in fucking Denver, I'm getting high. That was the end of my sobriety. I've been high ever since. I have a question for you. For me, I lost all that weight back a couple years ago, and I had such success with the keto diet. I understand now that the reason for that was a pendulum thing. I did so good losing all this weight. I understood all the benefits and blah, blah, blah. But I had to gain that weight again. I'm all the way back over here. And now I'm fucking indulgent like a motherfucker. But my pendulum, you need the pendulum sometime is my point.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning from this pendulum is basically that I understand that in order to be that small size on the keto diet, I would have to be on the keto diet for the rest of my life. But I like bread and I like fruit. I don't want to be restricted. So that's why I had to do this whole thing over, put the weight back on, and learn how to eat intuitively. I'm going to start to learn to listen to my body. So if you're interested, go to Silver Linings. I'm on this kick right now. But do you feel like you've had like a pendulum of being one way to the other in like your mindfulness of, because you're like, I'm finding new ways to cope and stuff like that?
I would say my pendulum swing is that I thought I had to be all peaceful and all loving and stuff. And now I went the totally opposite direction. And now I think I'm finding that middle ground. It's falling in the middle.
I'm on my way. I'm still over here, but I'm determined to get here. And I feel like because I've pushed through so many things and I have nothing but success each and every time, that and this is interesting, of all the sex bullshit I had to go through and all the unrequited love and all like the oppression from the mamas, my biggest shame has been about my body and my fat. I'm going to change the definition of fat. It's got such a negative connotation to it. It's just a description. But I've had such a, I forgot where I was going with this. What the fuck, man? I lost it. Damn it. What were you saying? Because I interrupted you to get my point, and that will help me. I'll interrupt you again.
Fuck, what was I saying?
We're talking about pendulums and balance. Oh, well, sort of. Anyway. Oh, I know. I got it. Because I've had all this success. I find it interesting that I had to wait like 6 years to get to this place. Because losing weight and dieting shouldn't, or whatever, body image shouldn't be that big. But I realize it's one of my biggest shames. When I told Michael that I felt that way, because he was like my confessional. I do it on Silver Linings now, but for the first few years, it was through him. That was the hardest thing I had to do, was confess to him that I feel ugly about my body. So even though it's a really hard place to be in, I have so much success under my belt that despite the fact that I'm growing and growing and growing, I have faith that I'm going to get to the other side of this with success. And the other side is not losing weight. It might happen, but the other side is accepting myself as I am, no matter what size I am. I might even fluctuate up and down.
Yeah.
So even though I have this fear and I'm not liking the way I'm feeling, I'm not liking the way I'm looking, I still hold on to that, knowing that like all of the other things I've done, I will push through this too. You are on a path. When you're on this path, you can't lose.
Yeah.
So you still have to go through the emotions of feeling shitty. You still have to do the swinging of your pendulum, but you will balance every single thing that we start off to do. We will find our way. Do you feel that way too?
Yeah.
Even, you get so distressed, but it's like, I know I'll get there. Stay the course.
I know I'll eventually get there. That's always been, a strong,
not for me. I had to learn that. I had to learn that because I was so desperate for so long. I've lost that desperation and have the faith.
Good. I feel like I'm at the point where, for a while, especially where I was feeling my most depressed and most anxious, and I felt so fucking lost. And I went like quiet off social media and everything. And it's when we stopped doing our Stardust videos, I just couldn't I couldn't do anything.
Oh, no,
I could barely go take care of myself at the time.
I know. We're like, I haven't brushed my teeth. I haven't showered. We were both like, just gross, basic human, grooming we couldn't even manage.
So, and I felt bad for not doing Stardust videos and stuff, because I said we would do more during COVID, but I'm like, I can't. But anyway, I felt, now that I'm out of that, I'm starting to get out of it. I'm barely out of it now. It was like, it feels like I was dismantling, breaking apart who I was, who I thought I was, everything from the past. And now I feel like I'm at this place where I'm at now. I finally found the words for it. I'm building a new me. It's the new me coming and forming. It's like a new baby bird, like a phoenix. It's so cheesy, but it's like a phoenix.
You're right.
I completely burnt up and died. The old me is fucking gone. Like, I don't even recognize who I was a year ago. I don't know who that girl is anymore. And there's this new me now. And I'm still a baby. And I'm getting to know what this is, but I feel like when I say a new me, it doesn't mean like this version of me was never there.
No, you're stripped. It's your new version.
Yeah.
You know what not your new version, like your cleaned off version. And I in one of my shows, I compared it to like Minecraft, where you have survival mode. And that's what I've been through. I've been stripping shit away and just surviving and just coming out, swimming to the surface. I've reached that. I'm now in creative mode. Yeah. I feel like that. It's like, this is a brand new me and I don't have to undo that. I mean, there's always something, but for the bulk, I feel like I've done the bulk of that radical work of stripping myself. Now I get to create things. I'm fresh and new. I don't have these filters here anymore. The expectations are gone. And they still come up. You think you're free and clear of it. But like I said before, when you're done, you die. And I'm not ready to die. So I know that there are more layers. But I feel like, that it is a brand new me. And from here on out, I get to start deciding stuff and choosing, rather than have life happen to me and dealing with whatever comes at me. I'm jumping in.
I feel like this new version of me is not, I don't want to say new version because that makes it sound like it was never there before.
The clean version, the stripped away, the fresh.
I shedded old skin.
Yes.
Pretty much. So this version was always there. It's just she was quiet, dormant in the back. I feel this one is much more vocal, a lot more stronger.
We're going to talk some more shit. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Stir the pot a little more.
I'm done trying to word things in the correct way that won't trigger anybody. Really nice, fluffy words. No, fuck that. Like,
I'll still have fluffy words. I still will, because I believe that you can say something with kindness.
Yes.
But the difference
that doesn't mean I'm going to be mean. That just means that I'm going to come from a place of kindness. I'm not going to straight up
truth. Right. You're not going to flower your truth and disguise it.
Right.
You're still going to say it.
I'm going to say it. And if you take it the wrong way, that's not my fucking problem. Kind of thing. That's where I'm at. So
I'm a little bit different. I want to be understood. I want my true intention to be understood. And if I'm like as clear and concise as I can be, and there's still some ambiguity, I can't clear it up for everybody. But the people that I interact with directly, you got to understand where I'm coming from, or we're not going to meet. If it's some stranger over there, who gives a shit? But if it's somebody I live with, you need to understand me, or it's pointless to try to explain myself.
I was thinking more like people that get angry by what I say or take it the wrong way. They get upset. Like, I'll say, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of example I could give, but somebody taking it, like getting upset and angry with me and wants to like voice their dislike. And I'm just like, well, that's on you, man. Like that's you getting upset with me is not my responsibility. It's just not. So, that's where I'm at. If people misunderstand me and they're saying, well, it sounded like you said this, then I'm like, okay, well, this is what I was saying.
Let me clear it up. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's because it's important to me. I don't want to be misinterpreted. I really do. That's one of my triggers. Because, in this house, I am misunderstood so many times. And you said that you're like maxed out with your parents. I'm maxed out with my husband. Yeah. He accuses me of things I haven't done. And one of the ways in which he does that is to just misinterpret my meaning.
Yeah.
And so, in a way, it's a form of accusing me of something I haven't done. I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. And I am done with that. So I have an extra thick filter of needing to be understood. And I know that that's my problem. I know that I come up from a place of trauma of not having a voice, and that's why.
Right.
So I'm still continue, to learn, heal, and grow from that.
Right. I'm saying, like, if I'm coming from a place of love with my words and what I'm trying to say, and you're taking it as a place of hate or anything like that, then what I'm saying is it's not my job to try and make you feel better about what I said because you
No,
took
I
it the
don't
wrong
think
way.
that it's your job, but I do think it's important to be clear. And sometimes you have a perception, not you, but anybody. This is what I'm
Right, but
saying, and this is how I think
yeah.
it's coming off. But the person reading it, because
Well, then
text doesn't translate well.
we can get into philosophy about that. That's someone's perspective. You can't make somebody see something the same way. That would mean I would have to constantly reword things in different ways so that people from various perspectives would be able to see it.
And that lies the
exhausting.
problem. That is exhausting. So, and it's just a tricky thing, because if somebody reacts to something you say and you want to clear it up, that's fine for your one or two friends. But when you got to do it to the whole fucking world, then it's like, ugh,
it's not my job.
This shit.
It's not my job.
It's hard. It's hard to understand where another person's filter is. It just is.
Right.
And to appeal to everybody is just a challenge. So you just,
I'm just not. I'm over it. And so I feel like because we're both changing, I feel like Stardust is going to change, like what we're going to be focused on mainly, and like the kinds of things we'll be talking about. I'll channel still, but I'm over doing readings for people. I'm over,
that's a shame. You're so good at it. That I'm respecting, your desire and your path in life, but it is a disappointment because you're like the Mac Daddy.
I'm
setting intentions for H to come back to Channel Land.
I'm focused more on my writing career right now. That's where the me is at, and I'm planning on moving to San Francisco so I can get a job in publishing over there, and I think it's time to focus on that more than this work. But yeah,
we have to change. We just have to. That's how humans are. You don't stay stuck in the same place, and everything changes around you, and you can just think about, even just since Facebook and waking up and all that stuff started, just how your group of friends has evolved. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been given messages from, they don't want me to know my future. Yeah. But they give you hints about your future, and they've already told us that we're going to be solid despite little bumps in our road. And I got that little message about Sarah too. We're going to have a bump in our road. But if I didn't have that kind of understanding, I would really fear our little, our disagreements, or we don't really have disagreements, but you know what I mean, our shit. Yeah. So I would be scary. So where was I going with this?
I feel like eventually, this is me channeling a little bit. I feel like we're going to move on, becoming closer in a new way. I feel like a vacation's in store for us soon. I think it's more like me coming to visit you, though, and we're just going to stay.
It's in the budget.
Yeah, it's in.
We'll drive to New Orleans.
Hey, I'm in. I'm down.
Wow.
You can treat me because I'm poor.
Oh yeah, I got so much money. Oh no, we're waiting for that. There's no treating going on. Right. I don't have any income. Well, I told you about that one thing that might come my way. I got nothing right now. I'm waiting for the next stimulus check to come in, and be grateful that my husband gives me my chunk of it, because I'm not the one making the household money, but he's sweet like that.
I wish I could get my stimulus check, but you know what? That's okay. I still have my savings account, but that's for emergency stuff, and I don't want to dive into that. So when I say I have no money, I don't mean like there's nothing in my bank account. It's just that I don't have free spending money. And
and I always feel like I have just enough. I've been like rich before. I've been poor before, but for the past several years, I've just had just enough. There's always enough. I'm conservative with my money, and that's one of the reasons why. But
I'm not.
I'm very comfortable with that. One of my path is that at some point it will change, but up until now, I have been taken care of by others in, financially, all the 3D ways, because my job is my inner work and mommy stuff. But I've never had to worry about that. And I'm so grateful. Well, I did a long time ago, I was like, $17,000 worth of debt from, like student loans, which probably equaled what yours did, because it was 20 years ago, but that was a heavy burden on me. A really big, scary.
One of my therapists asked me, do you have any outstanding debt? I'm like, student loans, but like everybody has those. Like, I'm not really a debt person other than that. That just follows you. You just have that forever. That's
Mine
just
was
forever.
on my credit card. I charged everything on my credit card. So I was like paying 25% interest on my $17,000 loan. And I'm like, fuck, man. My grandma wrote me a check and said, here's your early inheritance. I want to have a grandbaby. Because I said I wasn't going to have a bad baby till I was out of debt. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying too. And I mean it too. Everyone's like, you never know what the universe is going to give you. I'm like, bitch, I'm in control of my body. I live in California for a reason.
Heather's right about that. And I have something to tell you. I have something to share with you about that because you've always been one, like, fuck you, Heine, I'm doing what I want. I know you used to, threaten him with all kinds of crazy shit. You're
I'm like, I'll fucking kill myself.
I didn't want to say that, but yes, that's what she used to say. But you know what Fairy Girl said to me? She's totally set me up because I am this sheep that does everything that I'm supposed to do. Yeah. And Fairy Girl, I didn't even put it together. I took it as a huge compliment. But on this path I'm on at this point in my life, she said to me once through trance channeling with you, she goes, you're a good incarnate. You do everything I want you to do. And you're the bad one. I was like making fun of you because you're the one shaking everybody else's path up because you refuse to do this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know what? That was another way that Fairy Girl set me up. You're a good girl. You do as you say, just like I did for my mommy, just like I did for the madam, just like I did for the men. You're a good girl. You do what you're told. Fuck you, Fairy Girl. I'm not a good girl. I'm just me. Fuck you. And I hear her going, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. You've never been the good girl for somebody else.
Still not. I had asked for a journey like this because I'm like,
clearly,
I want to change. So I had actually asked myself, not like higher self asked for it. It was me who had asked for it. And I knew it was coming in a few years. But anyway, it's here now. So I know I had asked for this because I consciously did. It wasn't like an unconscious higher self thing. So I'm not mad at myself. I'm like, no, I want this. I want to grow. I want to keep going through it, so.
You know what? I'm going to add to that because, here comes the feels again. Because sorry.
No, that's fine.
I think this is part of my evolution too, because I'm finally learning to appreciate the packaging I came in because I like teaching and I like inspiring other people. So if anybody else is born into this cute little chubby round body, not a big fat ugly body, but cute chubby little round one, I am embracing that because there's a reason for it. Through this packaging that I don't exactly appreciate, I am going to learn so much appreciation just being who I am, and I get the bonus of sharing that with the people that follow along and learn that too. So I wish I was, Victoria's Secret material, but there's a reason that I'm not. So I'm going to embrace that and make it work for me.
Yeah.
And when I make it work for me, it just, because of these shows, I know I make it work for others. I love that. So yes, I asked for this too, but mine was on a subconscious or spirit level because this 3D me would never ask for it.
Yeah, true. I feel like people will get bored with our conversation because we're not channeling anything.
I would feel like that too, but that's not true because, the Joyride show, we just sit there and yammer on and people love it.
Really?
I need to accept. Yes, we don't have any channelers on there.
Well, hold on, real quick. Sam, can you say something of substance,
Let's channel.
like what? He's the only person I can really talk to other than Eric.
Let me, I want to ask Sam a question.
Yeah, go for
I know
it.
that he kind of told me that, that Star Fairy has entered her terrible twos, but because her birthday was just like yesterday or 2 days ago. I think yesterday was her second birthday. Have you seen her recently? Have the babies played together?
No, not yet. I think, and I was just thinking that, it would be a good idea to get them both really tired out. You need to let all the little kids play together. That's what my family does. Everyone brings over their fucking kids and they all play. And then the adults get drunk off their asses. And then the kids take care of each other. They keep each other occupied. They watch out for each other. And then they pass out from being tired. It's perfect. It's what my family does. Be like a Hispanic family. Just fucking get drunk while all the kids play, order pizza.
You're Mexican on.
Yeah. Just do that. That's what my family does. He says that's awful. But I'm not going to do that. But a play date would be a good idea. It would probably help you both. He said, okay, but it feels like he's not going to do that. Whatever.
You get your little baby strollers, and you and Avery go push your babies in the park with your lattes.
Yeah, like good dad moms.
Dad moms.
Good dad moms. Or he says, or just good dads.
Right. Not the mama. You don't know that show. Do you know that show, Dinosaurs? No. Well, then the little baby, whenever daddy would come in the room, he'd go, not the mama. That was his name, not daddy.
He had said that he took Alice outside the other day, and I was like, what, were you carrying her around or something? He's like, no, it was like in a stroller. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. Like an Amy pushing around a baby in a stroller.
I wonder if he's got the Mac Daddy or the umbrella. Did you go cheap or go large?
Is it like a small little cheap one? No. This is
so the government, okay, they hooked you up.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I don't want to be insensitive, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Sammy, how do you feel about Aiden?
Oh, yeah.
Bad? Sorry.
He says it's okay. Me, I'm thinking he wasn't real in the first fucking place. That made Sam smile, like, of course. He says he wasn't as, like, broken up about it.
That's good. That's good.
He said it was very early on compared to Julie.
Okay.
He said that Aiden passed on really early on in the incubator. And I just wasn't there to really pay attention to that because I was going through my own shit. He says, yes, you were.
How do you feel, Sam, with Heather so distracted right now? Are you like impatient and patient at the same time?
A little bit, but he's concerned. He says mostly concerned. He says he's not used to this, seeing this.
Do you guys get depressed?
He says sometimes it's rare. Like something really traumatic has to happen. And he says we're just not depressed because of just to be depressed. But he says he's learning how to navigate being with
hard to be the partner. It really is hard. You don't know what the fuck to do with them. Do you enable them? Do you what do you do?
He's asking, what does he do? He's asking you, what does he do?
Just be there. Sometimes I would talk to when I had extreme anxiety, I would just have my dad on the other end of the phone and I'd just cry. He'd be wanting to go out to the casino with his girlfriend because they got their lunch special or whatever. And he'd just be there. And I have, such gratitude for my dad for not doing anything but giving me his time. So just be there.
He says, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
He's saying that, I want a lot of space too, though. I'm somebody that when I'm in the thick of it, he doesn't like that, but he says he's learning to accept that, that I just need to be alone, and it may be weeks, but that's just.
Avery has to deal with that. I'm just getting ready to go to sleep and I'll have him pop, come, pull on my legs. Give me a thrill. But I don't have, so I can just imagine that Avery has to do the same thing, just be without me for forever at a time.
Yeah. He says that Avery's doing fine though. He's okay with it.
He doesn't have time for me.
Busy. Yeah. He's busy being a father. But something real quick for people that aren't in the Facebook group or didn't see this post. There's a couple things I learned about the Sarsahr that are, it's not channeled. It's like factual, information kind of thing. They aren't gaseous people like us. So they don't burp or anything like that. So
yeah, you never do either.
And also they don't have like set meal times where it's like, oh, it's breakfast time, it's lunchtime, it's dinner time, and they don't do like family meals like that where everyone in the family gets together and sits at the dinner table or whatever. It's just whenever you're hungry, it's like, oh, it's fuel time kind of thing,
That's what I'm trying to do.
Sounds like we don't think of it like fuel time, but it's time to eat. You eat whenever you get
That's
hungry.
exactly one of the things we eat by the clock. Oh, the lunch bell rang, time for everybody to do the cafeteria whether you're hungry or not. Yeah. And I hear my kids in the morning getting breakfast and I feel bad for them. I'm never hungry at 5 o'clock in the morning, but they have to eat now before the bus comes. They're fucking themselves up.
Yeah.
Okay. What else did you learn?
He says he finds it odd we do that, but at the same time, food is so important to us. If you look at every culture, a great way to make peace is by you know, breaking
Everything
bread.
is food.
Everything's food. And I'm like, told Sam, I'm like, if you ever want to make peace with humans, just like give us burritos. Like, just come in with a burrito. Like,
No, you were right with the loaf of bread. Just bring me a fucking loaf of bread.
No,
and
I
you
want
are
a burrito. I want a burrito. I'm all about burritos lately. I'm all into the burrito. I want a burrito now.
Mine's sushi. I can't get my fill of
I
sushi
fucking
right
want
now.
sushi too. Girl, what are you doing to me?
I'm going to teach you intuitive eating.
No, I'm going to get a sushi burrito. It's going to be
I know. Don't those look so good? If you're not a sushi person, that sounds disgusting. But once you get a taste for sushi, you understand. And I'm just
Sam's
I've been eating it for breakfast. Sushi and lemon cake and licorice. That's been my breakfast. Sometimes bacon too. I know part of this intuitive eating is that you eat every single fucking craving you've ever had so that you rewire your brain into believing that there's no restrictions and no scarcity. So once your brain finally realizes I never have to give this up, you don't need it as much. It's always there. And that has been my truth, because all of the shit that I need to eat or needed to eat at one time, I got like a closet full of all the best cereals. I'm like, I want that. I'm over it. I have truly become over some of my, not sushi yet though. I got to eat a little bit more sushi.
I've been making all these healthy meal alternatives for we have a house full of like 6 kids that we're teaching from home. And all my roommates are helping and things like that. And what's cool is that everyone who's at the house, all the kids, their parents work at hospitals. And so they're adhering to really strictly to the quarantine. So when they come over here, they know that they're only in like 2 different places. So there's no real chance of like, you know, cross contamination or something like
cooties.
That. They're the cooties.
Cooties.
So anyway, but the kids, I'm teaching them more about like, you know, what nutrients they're taking in, kind of thing, like teaching them about their vitamins and what they need for like fuel. And so, and they just want pizza and bagels and stuff. And I don't blame them. That shit's delicious. But I'm like, there's healthy alternatives that taste just like that food you're craving. So I've been making those, and they've been in love with lunch lately. They're like, oh, what are we having today? Like the other day I made cauliflower buffalo wings. So it's not chicken, it's just cauliflower, but it tastes just like buffalo wings. And the kids were just in love with them. And they couldn't even
taste. Somebody to bring me shit like that.
So, and like I make like that whole head of cauliflower. I made it with just that whole thing was only like, if you were to eat all those buffalo cauliflower wings to yourself, you'd be eating about 280 calories total. And
I can't count.
Tastes fucking delicious. And it's so low in calories. And I'm like, yeah, man, you could just eat a veggie alternative to the deliciousness. And
I'm down with that too, because it's, you know, it's about flavor. It's not actually
it's about
the ingredients. I mean, really. So
I'm like, cauliflower mac and cheese too. Oof.
I'm right in this place right now where I'm not supposed to limit at all. I'm supposed to honor every single fucking craving. And then in fact, when I get like a little idea in my mind and I'm like, I'm not really hungry for that, I'm like, well, I can't deny myself now. I have to get it. I got to recreate that new neural pathway. So I go and I eat it. But I absolutely agree with you when I'm done with this phase, because for a while I was trying something else and I'm like, okay, I'm going to ditch the ranch and go with the vinaigrette. Just little things like that can make it, because ranch has so many calories that like quadruples.
Yeah.
So if you like the vinaigrette just as well, then go for that one. But right now, if I want the ranch, I'm just going to drink it with the straw if I want it that bad.
All right. I think we would wrap this up. Or
no, wait, not yet, because I interrupted. You said that they don't pass gas. That's just embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
And then they don't have a time to eat. What was the other one?
No, that was
scheduled meals. Oh, okay.
That was it. That was the new thing. That's
Oh my gosh. So wait, I got a question for them. So what does Sam and Avery think about the babies when they have their little toots? Is it funny?
Sam's laughing and he's like, it's adorable. Smelly.
Oh, like cauliflower.
He says that she burps like me. You know, to him it's loud. I'm like, I'm sure she's a baby. She's not gonna burp that fucking loud. But
she's your baby though. So
no, you never know. But he's laughing. He gets a good kick out of it.
You give that baby a kiss, and if you can see mine, if you get a chance to see mine, you give her a kiss for me also.
This is okay.
Okay, and before we wrap up, I just want to promote one more time that I really am. I'm like so passionate and enthusiastic about this stuff. I'm in that phase where I want to convert everybody I'm at the doctor's office telling my doctors and the assistants, go look this up. It's going to change your life. And while everybody can technically do it, even if you have like some kind of restrictions, because I have insulin and sugar issues, you can still do it. But just because you can doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. So I don't mean to be obnoxious and push it on everybody, but if it does interest you, then go on over to my channel for a little bit, because this is something that you'll be able to identify with if it interests you. I'm so excited about it. We're going to get rid of all those expectations and love ourselves no matter how round we are.
No matter how round. Yeah. All right. Well, I love you.
And I love you too. This was real nice to talk to you, because it really was, we didn't, besides our visit with Sam, it was just about us. It was just like having a private conversation, talking our smack.
Yeah. And so if anyone's wondering where we've been, it's because of that, so.
Yeah, we really did have to take some time to mutate. And, my dog, my guides made me have surgeries to get me to slow down. So it was just in the works all along that this is going to be like a chill time for Stardust.
I know. I had my mental breakdown before Corona. So I had to quit work because of that. And then I was like, God, I can't even pay my bills right now. There's no way. And then COVID happened and everyone went on unemployment. And I was like, all right, this works.
Well, see, I think that they, Fairy Girl, timed my pendulum swinging for this place that we all got fat. And that is timely too, because how many people are going, I got to knock those COVID-19 pounds off.
Yeah, I know everyone's saying that, but I'm still in that, like, I'm not gaining any more weight, but I'm not losing. God. I'm in a good place right now. So I'm like, all right, I can still eat what I want and I'll be okay.
I have a new level of expansion going. not spiritual expansion.
You're going up and beyond.
Body expansion. But I'm embracing it because, like I said before, I just have success with every single thing I go through. So I'm just giving up the pressure of being skinny. I'm going to love myself for who I am, no matter what. Okay, Sissy Pants.
I'm there.
I have a date with Layla right now. She put all her sparkles on, and so I got my sparkles on. So we're going to go. I was going to say we're going to go pick up some men, but the truth is, how I meant, sorry, I'm going on and on, but I told you how Josh is going to be political and change the world in that way. My girl Layla is so pro, I don't even know what word to call it, but pro different sexuality stuff. And she's got this shirt that says human, and each letter has different colors on it. So she's like, this is the gay one, this is the bi one, and I don't even know all of the things, but I'm like, I'm so proud of you for embracing this and loving everybody. Oh, I have something so funny to tell you too. And I'm like, well, which one do you think includes being attracted to aliens? And we're laughing. I can't even believe I had this conversation with my daughter, 12-year-old daughter. And she goes, Mom, you are extraterrestrial. So you're gonna change the human to plus ETs.
Plus ETs, you can't leave them out.
So that's what I think she's going to change the world, is by influencing and creating a place in which everybody's accepted, no matter what your sexual preference is, no matter what your outsides look like, any way you want to dress or whatever. Rainbow is her favorite color, and I'm really proud of that girl. So we're not going to go pick up men. We're going to go get some ETs and who knows what. Probably just going to go eat.
Go eat. Go pick up.
That's the reality of it.
That sounds
all
good.
right, Sissy Pants. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, I will.
Bye.
Bye.